While walking around his office, Carter Walton felt the weight of the years he had spent hiding in the shadows. Loyal and trustworthy Carter was the individual on whom everyone relied, but he was rarely acknowledged when it came to the decisions that actually shaped Forrester Creations. Over and over again, he had remained a spectator as the Forresters fought, forgiven, and let go of their differences. He had witnessed Ridge and Steffi engaging in power games, and he had even gotten glimpses of Eric's dissatisfaction with the way his legacy was being managed. Nevertheless, it was always obvious that Carter, despite the fact that he was admired, would never have a genuine seat at the table. But it was possible that this was about to change. Over the course of the preceding 6 months, Carter had gained an understanding of the flaws that were present throughout Forrester Creations, particularly among those who held positions of authority. Due to the fact that Ridge and Steffi were so intent on protecting their family brand, they rarely recognized the advantages that could be gained from new perspectives. In addition, Eric was clinging to a dream that was beginning to go away, and he was resolute in his intention to leave the company in the hands of a family that did not always appear to know what it desired. Despite this, Carter had a vision that extended beyond the pride and tradition of his family. He recognized the potential in bringing Forrester into a new era, and he was confident that he has the abilities necessary to make this vision a reality. With a rare and defiant glitter in his eyes, Carter took a deep breath and exhaled deeply. If the Forresters were unable to recognize what he brought to the table, it is possible that he would be forced to devise his own specific power move. He was not with the intention of bringing down the family dynasty. Rather, he merely desired to bring something new to the table, a daring thing to do. One of the most important aspects of his plan was an impending initiative, which was a new division that would be centered on sustainability. This was a topic that Forrester had barely touched on in passing. While Forrester paid lip service to the growing trend toward ethical production in the fashion industry, Carter wanted to take it to the next level and establish their company as a pioneer in the field of responsible fashion. It would be a risky and daring move, and it would be just the kind of shift that could help him solidify his position at Forrester. Carter was aware that he would require allies. It is impossible for a single person to pull off a coup, and despite the fact that he desired this, he could not take the chance of alienating the entire family. All that was required of him was to strategically persuade a few individuals. In the later part of the afternoon, he made contact with Thomas. Thomas was not just talented and ambitious, but he was also extremely annoyed by Ridge and Steffi's persistent dismissing of him with no explanation. In the event that there was anyone who would comprehend the necessity of rearranging the power dynamics, it would be him. Thomas was found by Carter in the design area, where he was ruminating over some sketches. "Could you spare a moment, Thomas?" In a tone that was both appealing and serious, Carter inquired. When Thomas looked up, he had a smirk tugging at the corners of his mouth. "Depending on. What does this have to do with work?" "Yeah, actually," Carter responded as he moved closer to the speaker. "Let me consider this. Something that has the potential to alter the flow of events in this area, but it is a little unorthodox. I believe that you would be interested in this." One of Thomas's eyebrows was lifted. "Do you find it unusual? Right now, I am paying attention to you. How does the plan work?" The first thing that Carter said was, "Imagine a division that is solely focused on sustainable fashion," and his voice was steady, but included a hint of excitement. "There will be no more of those tiny capsules that create a fleeting splash and then vanish. I'm referring to a brand new department at Forrester Creations, which has the potential to attract a different type of customer, one who is concerned about the origin of the clothing they wear." There was a glimmer of curiosity in Thomas's eyes. "And this is something you want me to be a part of?" "Yes," Carter acknowledged with a nod. "You possess the abilities to be innovative as well as the motivation to make it happen. In addition, I am aware that this has the potential to become quite successful." Thomas appeared to be contemplative and obviously fascinated. "The way that you are considering this is something that Ridge would never do. Tradition is something that he has always been concerned with, but this would be a statement." While dropping his voice, Carter leaned in closer. "That is exactly right. Keeping up with the changing industry is something that Thomas and Forrester need to do, because Ridge and Steffi are so intent on maintaining the status quo, they are unable to see the wider picture. On the other hand, if we find a way to make this work, they will have no choice but to acknowledge our influence. Thomas gave a slight nod, a look of defiance appearing in his eyes. To tell you the truth, Carter, I've been longing for an opportunity such as this one. My ideas are being dismissed by Ridge just because they do not conform to his expectations, and I am sick of it. Following that, Carter extended his hand and said, "Then let's do this. We're going to bring something fresh to Forrester Creations when we work together. You may count on us to make sure that it is too huge for them to ignore." During the handshake, a silent agreement was made between the two of them. Carter felt a sense of exhilaration, despite the fact that they both knew it would not be an easy task. This marked the beginning of something of great significance, a shift in the equilibrium, which he had meticulously calculated himself. Carter held a series of one-on-one meetings with other Forrester workers in order to gauge their level of interest in the newly established division. He discussed ideas with Zoe and even persuaded one of the junior designers to begin drawing concepts for an environmentally friendly line of clothing when he brought them up. Each action was understated but decisive, with the intention of gaining momentum without bringing an excessive amount of attention to itself. However, emotion alone would not be enough to alter everyone's opinion, so Carter focused his efforts on Katie Logan, another important ally. Katie had a strong commitment to environmental matters and had consistently expressed her worries regarding the actions that Forrester was taking to promote sustainability. In addition, the fact that she had a tense relationship with the Forresters, particularly Brooke and Ridge, was the impetus for her decision to support a project that was not entirely under their leadership. During the afternoon, Carter was able to locate her in her office. He started out by saying, "Katie, I wanted to run something by you," as he prepared to propose his idea for the new division. Katie's eyes lit up with excitement as she listened. "Carter, this is really incredible. I have been holding out hope that Forrester will take a more significant stand on the issue of sustainability. Yet, I never imagined that anyone would take the issue seriously." The sight of her passion caused Carter to smile. "I believe that we will be able to move this forward with your voice and influence, Katie. It is my intention to ensure that it is provided with the resources it requires and the prominence it merits. What if we were to make Forrester a pioneer in the field of sustainable fashion?" Katie smiled and offered a nod. "You can count on my backing. I will support you in any way that I can." With the help of Thomas's inventiveness, Katie's influence, and his own persistence, Carter experienced a sense of the parts coming together harmoniously. Eventually, Ridge and Steffi would realize the significance of the project, but by that time, it would be too huge to ignore or disregard. He was aware of this fact. They would either have to join the movement or run the danger of appearing out of date. Carter didn't have the impression that he was the devoted worker who was standing on the sidelines and watched the Forresters make decisions the entire time. As of this moment, he was asserting his authority and establishing himself not just as an equal, but also as a leader within the organization. Once a few weeks had passed, Carter felt a surge of pride as he looked around a busy conference room that was filled with excited designers, junior staff, and even Katie and Thomas. It was impossible to deny the momentum that they had built up, and the excitement that they had for the new division was evident. The seeds for a new era at Forrester Creations, one that would reflect the ideals he believed in, had been planted by him. He had accomplished what he had set upon. During the time that Carter was addressing the room and setting out the vision for Forrester's future in terms of sustainability, he couldn't help but observe Ridge staring from the doorway, his countenance being unreadable. With a calm and confident expression, Carter met his gaze. The fact that Carter Walton was a formidable opponent was something that Ridge could no longer ignore, despite the fact that he might not enjoy this change. In addition, Carter realized for the first time that he had rightfully earned his position at Forrester Creations, not only as a reliable counsel, but also as a genuine power player.